The views and opinions expressed on This Can't Be Adulting are solely those of the host and do not represent or reflect the views of any individual, organization, employer, or entity we may be affiliated with. The content of this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised. Yo, welcome to This Can't Be Adulting, the podcast where two guys who probably should have it all figured out absolutely don't.
Careers, money, relationships. No one handed us a manual, so we're figuring it out the only way we know how, with real talk, deep dives, and a whole lot of laughs.
I'm Herb.
And I'm Derek. And if you're out here wondering, am I doing this right? Trust us, you're not alone.
So hit play, relax, and let's figure this out together.
Yo, what's going on? How we doing?
Hey, we back.
We back at it again.
Hey, we kind of get on the roll here.
Hey, we're trying to be consistent up in this bit. I will not say that full word because, I don't know. I just feel like being PG-13 today. That's a lie. That's it. Up in this bitch. Boom.
Great. You created a great time to be PG-13, I would say, for the topic.
Oh, for the topic that we're going to discuss today.
Yes. You know what? That also ties into American history. I guess we don't have to be coy about the topic. I guess talking about alcoholism and alcohol.
Well,
not
alcohol,
but just alcohol.
Alcohol culture.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the big thing we're
American
talking
history,
about.
Alcohol culture, how it differs from European. Parts of
Just in general. This is for me, it's a very interesting topic that I want to talk about because I think specifically for me and specifically in my culture, Colombian culture, and American culture, alcohol is very centered to each of those cultures.
Yes.
And so I've been wanting to do this episode so we can just talk about like our upbringing and with alcohol, like what did we see from it? How did we look at it? How was it introduced to us?
Yeah.
What was it like in the family thing? When did we first get introduced? Going back to like the classics of season 1 and how we talked about it.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of build up to
how we got here today.
How we got here today, and again, it comes down to this can't be adulting. How do we relate to alcohol now?
See if
as 40-year-olds?
Your taste has evolved.
See if our taste has evolved. It makes me think I no longer drink vodka in a plastic bottle.
There we go. We all started somewhere.
We all started somewhere.
I can't remember the last time I had a Long Island iced tea.
Oh my God!
Shout out Cruel Intentions.
Hey, we will certainly talk about that and get all up into that. But real quick, before we jump into that, is there anything that we want to talk about since the last time we was here? Anything new come up or anything like that?
I feel like I'm really skipping out on something, but I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't know either. I feel like, to be honest, we just recorded 5 days ago.
Honestly, that's the funny part. I was like, man, we coming back doing it again is like not a whole, like I was just here. We were just here.
Oh my God, I thought today was Wednesday. It's Thursday.
Buddy.
Out of it. I'm super out of it. Okay, it's Thursday. All right, beautiful weather in Austin though. Beautiful weather in Austin.
That part I will say.
Yeah, freaking 86 in February. Shit's crazy up in this bitch.
Oh yeah, that's
crazy.
Why I live. That's compared to how it is where you're from, the Northeast right now. What they're going through over the last
33 inches.
Hey.
He's supposed to be 40. He's supposed to be 40.
Hey, you know what they say about things in Texas. No. But it is crazy. Like, I would never, I can't imagine living. Like, I'm so glad after Iowa, like, bro, I don't want to live in the cold. And this is
there's a reason why I live here, too. There's a reason why I've been here 12 and a half years.
Yep.
You don't got to shovel the cold. You don't got to shovel the, you don't got to shovel the heat, rather. I apologize. You don't have to shovel the heat. And out there, it's like, it's crazy. Even my boys, all family, shout out JP, John Michael. Shout out to my boy John Michael. Just had his baby boy Lincoln. Congratulations, big dog.
Lincoln.
Hey, Lincoln. It's so funny. His story was so funny. His wife wanted to give him the middle name James. And so for like 4 months, my buddy John Michael was like, I don't know if we want to give him the middle name James, but all right, if you want to do it. And so he would always yell, I'm Link James, bitch. He kept saying that for 3 months until she finally gave up. She's like, we're not going to give him James. He's like, come on, what you mean, babe?
Well, what's the deal with Lincoln? Are they from Nebraska or something?
No, they're not. And they wanted to give him like a
city name?
I have to look at the text he was telling me. They wanted to give him like a leadership old school name or something like that. It was something
interesting. By AI or they do this research on their own?
No, I think... Don't know.
Okay, all right.
Don't know. I don't know. We're going down a rabbit hole.
Get out of there.
Alcohol.
Bring us back.
Bring us back. Bring us back to the 90s. Bring us back to when first remember. I guess my question for you is going to be like, what were your first memories of alcohol? No, we're not talking about like were we drinking alcohol when we were 2 or 3 years old. I don't mean that. Maybe some people were. We're just talking about like, what was your first relation to alcohol in terms of how you understood it and the dynamics of it? I don't know, within familial life or whatever other introductions you might have had to it.
Yeah, so growing up, like my in my immediate home, like alcohol wasn't kept in my house. Like my mom didn't drink. My dad, he drank, but he didn't drink at home. So there was never like alcohol. Like I never opened the refrigerator and would see like beer, or there was no like whiskey or like any type of bottles of liquor in our whole house. So I just never really like it wasn't around me, so it wasn't even something I was really tempted by. And then the few times I've tasted alcohol growing up, like, you know, the first time you ever like drink alcohol is disgusting. Like it does not taste good. I remember one of my uncles would drink Coke and rum and Coke or Crown and Coke, and picking it up and having a sip of it one time, and he was like, "Oh, you got to drink some now." He probably made me drink. It probably was nothing but like that much, but still, I was never. I feel like at like 9 or 10.
And so your parents didn't have alcohol in the house ever, but you said your uncle was drinking. Yeah. Where was this at? Where he was drinking?
Oh, just like right. He would sit out in his yard and like have a drink and stuff like that.
So you did have family that drank
yes.
alcohol.
Now in my community, alcohol, I mean, I had uncles who were, you know, drank heavily. All the men they would go to the park, they would always be drinking over there. So like I was around alcohol. It wasn't something that I felt tempted by growing up, just because I didn't really see like my dad ever drunk or my mom ever drink. She would occasionally have like a daiquiri or like a frozen daiquiri, but that would be very, very rare occasions. And even then, it was like nothing I really thought about.
What about holidays?
They drank, but they really didn't. I feel like the women led the holidays for the kids. So we didn't, like, the men were drinking, but we didn't see it. And the women weren't drinking. So it was drinking at the holidays, but it's still, again, it was kind of like out of sight. No temptation. Like, don't have the alcohol around the kids.
So alcohol wasn't,
my grandmother was not with that. And then a lot of them got, which is so funny because my grandfather and grandmother ran a juke joint. Was heavy drinkers, and then she found the Lord, and then they got rid of all the drinking. But my grandfather was an alcoholic. Suffered for a lot of the things that, you know, men with alcohol, why many may say prohibition, you know, got its, you know, why we had prohibition back in the day with some of the issues with men being drunk. So like it was those types of things that I also understood about alcohol that made me feel like, I don't know if this is something I want to do.
Understood.
Same with drugs. It kind of went under the DARE program, the alcohol, drug abuse, all that stuff was all the same.
Understood. Okay, interesting. So just for a definition, since you brought up alcoholism, alcoholism is medically known as alcohol use disorder, and this occurs when a person has formed a mental reliance on or addiction to and or chemical dependency on alcohol. So that's essentially what it is. And I wanted to define that because there might be some discussion around alcoholism, like you just mentioned here, and around other things that we will be talking about for sure. Yeah.
Because there was some that were alcoholics, and then I would say, you know, some that suffer from, you know, alcoholism, I would say.
Okay, I got you. All right, so in your community, someone in your family, but it wasn't like a big thing. It wasn't something that you thought of. It was the men. It was the men. Drink. But also, you mentioned your grandmother and your grandfather owned a juke joint, and so they drank heavily.
They were drinking, but this is before my time.
Yeah, your grandmother found the Lord.
She found a good Lord.
And you did mention to me in one of the episodes that grandma was the matriarch right there.
Yes,
she ran shit.
She ran, and that's where everybody kind of fell in line. So she didn't have alcohol. You couldn't have alcohol in the house, in her house and stuff. So like all the uncles would drink. Again, it was like out of sight. Like you couldn't come to her house drinking and stuff, which is funny because one of my uncles probably drink a lot. But anyways, but for the most part, they still kept it away from the kids.
Got you. Okay, so for you, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like, oh, this is something. How about culturally? Like, did you feel like you saw drinking
terrible? Seeing my grandfather and how he would behave when he drank. All the men, of course, they would drink and get in a fight, shoot each other, stab each other. Like, it was just crazy. Like, they
shit.
I know. It was just like, so in the community, I saw drinking a lot, and I saw how it affected a lot of the men, and it kind of went into like drinking and drugs. And when I say drugs, even just like smoking weed, but also coming through the 90s, it was a crack epidemic. So seeing like drinking and drugs, I was like, no, I got to stay away from that.
So you were staying away from that?
Yeah.
Oh.
They spooked me. I was scared straight.
You were scared straight? I was
scared straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how the tables have changed.
We'll get to that. Before we get to that, how does that differ or how does that compare to like how you grew up?
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, great question. So for me, it was definitely quite the opposite. Alcohol was I don't want to say main staple, but it was a regularity in my household. And it wasn't because my parents were alcoholics in any way. I think for a while they abused alcohol. And again, that's another definition, right? There's a bit of a difference between alcoholism and alcohol abuse is also called a drinking problem, but it occurs when drinking alcohol becomes an issue that creates negative consequences for a person. Sure, I'm going to slightly disagree with that. I think it's more of like, from what I've seen and what I saw with my parents, maybe more of like binge drinking, like a pattern of like alcohol abuse, which is a person quickly consumes a lot of alcohol, that type of a thing. But like my parents, they never hit us because of it. It was never anything like that.
Yeah, I feel like alcohol, like the good thing of like alcohol abuse, alcoholism is like alcohol abuse is kind of like when you drink, how do you act towards others?
Yeah.
Your behavior toward, external behavior, where alcoholism is like when you drink, that's like what it does to you internally. Now that's not.
No, I get that. I get what you're saying.
That's kind of like how I.
The way and the way I view it as alcohol abuse is like, I think we've all abused alcohol. Admittedly, we've abused alcohol. It's just like getting overly drunk, drinking too much on a night, blah, blah, blah. Alcoholism is dependency.
Yes.
You have to wake up, you have to drink, you have to do it all the time.
Your brain has gone to...
But like any kid growing up, in college, like you went out and you got blackout. That's alcohol abuse.
Yeah, I ain't a blackout person either, but I'm a lightweight. But anyways,
debatable. But my point is, growing up, like my parents used to party a lot. Colombians like to party a lot, and I don't want to misrepresent them. When I say party a lot, like they would go out dancing once or twice
social.
a week.
Social,
yes, correct, socially. Yeah. They were very responsible parents, and we also had, they had a sick child. So at the end of the week, my parents were stressed, exhausted, and a Saturday night they were like, "We're gonna go out dancing. Can you stay with your sister?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." Me and my sister, we'd lay down and watch Nick for 30 minutes and we'd pass out. I was probably 8 or 9.
That's crazy.
When I started watching my sister.
Yeah, that's like crazy. Like nowadays, you would never leave an 8, 9-year-old at home alone. Back then, in the 90s, that was normal.
Very normal. Very normal.
Like just don't answer the door and don't answer don't answer the phone, don't answer the door.
Yeah, exactly. But like I saw alcohol drinking all the time. Again, it wasn't anything like overly aggressively drunk. But I saw not just my parents, but family members. I mean, holiday parties, everyone was drinking. My parents were very big on drinking beer, though. Like I've never seen my mom drink hard alcohol. To this day, my mom still loves to drink, but she only drinks Miller Lite. That's it. She might have a margarita here and there, but her drink of choice is Miller Lite.
She ain't ripping
That's
shot.
it. She never. She was like, I haven't ripped shots since I was in my 20s. Okay. So I never saw her rip shots. She was just drinking beer. My dad, on the other hand, he has a bit of a different and tumultuous relationship with alcohol, and I don't mean him necessarily personally, but my grandfather's father was an alcoholic, and he died of liver cirrhosis because of his alcoholism, and that was very heavy for my dad. And so I think because of that, my dad, while he does drink and did drink alcohol, he never took it to that level because he saw how it affected his father and the family. So there's alcoholism, true alcoholism, that actually runs in my family. So much so that when my dad was growing up, my dad told me, he was like, Sundays were the worst day because Sundays was the Lord's Day, and that was the only day that my father wouldn't drink. And we would get up at 6 a.m. and we'd leave the house. We wouldn't come back till 10 at night when he was asleep because he was in the worst mood ever because it was the only day he didn't drink. Yeah. And so that really stuck heavily with my dad. So my dad has never been an alcoholic. He does enjoy drinking, but he's always been pretty in control. So for me, it was just very normal. Like, that's what you do when you get older, So I was always kind of curious about it. But I was also very much like you, scared straight. Yep. Like very much like the DARE program, very much like I want to do good in school. I want to do this because, growing up, there was like 13, 14-year-olds that was getting drunk.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely getting drunk.
Yeah.
Getting drunk. But like I would always see at the parties, like my family drinking, all that stuff. And it didn't really interest me from that perspective. I was curious. Yeah. Like I remember I had my first sip of alcohol. What I can remember, I'm sure somebody gave me a sip when I was younger, but maybe when I was like 12 or 11 or 12, I remember my parents were drinking a Miller Lite, and my mom left a Miller Lite, left the house, and I was with my friend. I'm like, let's go taste it. And like I tasted it, and I was like, hey, shit's gross.
Cold piss.
Yeah, exactly. It just tastes like piss. But like, for me, I just assumed that alcohol was kind of what you do when you grow up. That's just what I assumed.
Okay. So then when you got to high school, like this all the way through high school, you kind of had this same
thing. I was a straight edge.
Yeah.
I was into soccer. I was on travel team. I was studying. I wasn't talking to girls because I was too scared to talk to girls. I wasn't doing drugs. Obviously, I wasn't drinking alcohol. I wasn't the cool kid. Like I just wasn't the cool kid.
That's so funny to think.
Nah, I wasn't a cool. You think I'm a cool guy now?
I mean, you're doing all right for yourself. I think you're doing all right.
You know what I'm saying? No, cool guy. Cool guy there over here. Running our podcast.
Just from sports, like just from a small school, like playing sports, like you were just going to be, I won't say cool, but people are going to,
Yes, and that's how I was able to get by most of the time. That's how I was able to get by, like not get bullied and not get into any serious issues where I got fucked around with because I was an athlete and I was one of the best athletes. But like by all means, I was pretty nerdy. And also, I grew up with a lot of these kids my whole life. And so they knew me from younger. So it's kind of like, it's just Derek. Like he's a student's kid. Leave him alone. We'll leave him alone type of a thing. But in high school, there was people drinking all the time. There was people getting drunk. Like
Smirnoffs. I remember Smirnoffs was the thing in high school. Around prom.
Like, all around prom all the time. Yeah. I remember very specifically my junior year. Was it my junior year? My junior year, we won states. We won states. Our high school hadn't won states in 8-9 years or something like that. And so we all had a party. I remember we had a party at my boy Ronald's house. Rest in peace, Ronald. He was a center back with me, and they all had alcohol there. And I remember them all getting smashed, like throwing up, smashed. And I was just sitting there like, what the fuck? First time I saw people getting smashed, dog.
What's wrong?
I was fucking 16 years old. I had just turned 16, and I was like, the fuck? And I just called my parents.
I'd have left, bro. Yeah, I'm gone.
Yeah, I called my parents. I said, I gotta go, man. Yeah. There were girls there, bro. They were all getting weird. I was like, I gotta go, dog.
They're starting to act like they like me. I gotta get out of here.
That was like one of the first times of like really seeing people get drunk. But again, it did not interest me in high school. It never interested you. Went to prom, junior. It wasn't my thing because I think similar to you, I was kind of straight edge type of thing. So, what about you? How was your high school experience?
Same thing. Like, I remember like Smirnoff. The reason I brought that up was like I feel like that's the time I like tasted Smirnoff. Like, okay, well, this may be one of the few things I can have a few sips of, but still, I couldn't drink a whole Smirnoff. And I'm saying Smirnoff Ice, not vodka. Like,
little 5%, little 5% alcohol, a little beer.
Liquor. Yeah, okay. So, I remember going to FBM or FBLA. Is that what it's called? One of the future business leaders. Yeah, FBLA. Being like you would go to spend the night at a hotel. Like all these schools from around Arkansas would go to this like hotel. Like I remember high school kids were like sneaking in alcohol. Like, oh hell no, they were sneaking in alcohol. Not my type of thing. Parties in our little small town, like the kids would go out to this like pavilion and they would drink over the weekends. And I was like, no, that just ain't my thing, bro. I couldn't even imagine going home having alcohol. Like I feel like my mom would have killed me, bro. And I was like, no. And then I almost had this like sense of like I'm better than everybody because I don't drink.
100%, bro. I was very self-righteous in my not drinking.
And they knew like, yeah, you think you better? Like, y'all think that, but like in my head, I was like, yeah, I don't drink.
I am better.
So,
I remember I used to say this thing all the time. I don't gotta have alcohol to have fun. I used to say that shit all the time. I don't gotta do that to have fun. Fucking nerd, bro.
But once I got to college, I went like my freshman year without drinking.
Bro, you and I
had
twins?
some few like drinks here and there, but like that's when like I would just hold the bottle.
Bro, are you and I twins?
That must be. That's why we got this podcast,
bro. No, all freshman year I did not drink. Actually, no mistake. You get into college and that's like, and I went to a predominantly white college, like very little minorities. You was in Iowa, so you get that. And it was like, come on, dude, we're going to a kegger. We're gonna go drink. And it was like you would go to these parties and nobody was dancing. I said all the time, like, what the fuck are we doing? I'm like, how are we not dancing? So I kind of avoided all them shits. And I used to go to like a lot of like the dance parties at other schools. I used to go to Northeastern, Tufts University, BC. I used to go to Harvard. Like parties. They throw some crazy party. It was just dancing, but I didn't really see many people drinking there either. Like everybody was busy dancing, and mind you, everybody was a person of color. That's what it was. But in college, everyone was like drinking. And my freshman year, I just never got into it until I got drunk for my first time.
I remember the first time I got
I'll never forget. It was March 2004, my freshman year.
Okay.
My roommate Manny, his brother Alvaro, he was going away to the Marines. And so he came up to BU for the weekend and was like, yeah, we're going to party my last time before I go out to boot camp.
Now, remind you the mindset of back at 04, like this is when the war with the Iraq.
War in Iraq,
like,
yeah,
this
exactly.
Was really like this was
the war on terror,
yeah,
which we know we've all been duped with, right?
But a lot of people our age were going to fight in a legit ass
war.
Yeah, we're going to get it.
So it was a big deal. You know, my brother, my boy Manny was like, "Damn, my brother's really going out there." So we came and they brought a bottle of vodka, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll drink whatever." Yo, we was just taking shots. I took 7 shots that night.
How'd you get him down?
7 shots. Yo, all I know is that I was puking 2 hours later, all over, just bleh, puking and puking and puking and puking. And after that, I was like, yo, I'm not touching this
Never
shit.
again.
No, I said never again. And I didn't touch it. That whole summer, came home, didn't drink. I'm like, I'm good. And then I got corrupt sophomore year.
Dude, that we must have. I don't know how we lived in these parallel universities, 2 different universities, but like, bro, it was the spring of my freshman year. I remember the first time I got drunk was after spring, or spring football season, like after spring practice, whatever. And we were gonna go out to our pet mall, whatever, and they introduced me to cranberry soda, vodka cranberry. There we go,
vodka cranberry.
Oh my god, bro. I must have drank maybe 3 of them. I just remember once I got back to the dorm rooms, I had my bed bunked. The room started spinning. I was at the top. I was like, "Oh my god!" And there was somebody in the bed. I get out the bed. I couldn't make it to the bathroom.
Yeah.
We had a sink right there, bro. I just started puking nothing but the red.
It looked like blood.
Oh my gosh! Just into the sink, and dude, I was like. It fucked me up. Like same thing. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. Yeah. Never doing this again. And I can just still remember. I can see the taste coming out. Like, but yeah, that was my first time getting drunk. And I was like, I don't know why people do this. And then next thing you know, it was
all of a sudden it was game over.
I went home after that. And then my best friend, my cousin, he was drinking Belvedere. He was a vodka drinker. He's drinking Belvedere. And I feel like it was Grey Goose before people started drinking Grey Goose. But doing the cranberry vodkas with that, and man, I just started. That was like when I started drinking. I would say,
about
the second semester of my freshman year.
I think for me, even though kind of knowing the culture that I grew up in, where drinking was pretty normal, it was just the norm, and then going into college on my own, and then it being really the norm. Then all my close friends were doing it, and then it was just kind of hard not to. So I showed up sophomore year. And I remember me and my roommate met these 4 Puerto Rican girls who ended up becoming like our really, really good friends. And they were drinkers, Bacardi. And so we just started partying and sipping with them, and it was game over. And I was just, this shit's fun. I can handle my shit better now. But I never drink beer. It was straight up alcohol. Straight up liquor.
I don't remember people drinking beer. I mean, they did kegs, I guess, but I don't remember people like none of the football dudes that I hung out with, most of the minorities in skills positions, they didn't drink beer. It was all straight liquor, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Most of the people of color that I hung out with, we never drink beer. No. But it was like my soccer team. I was with a bunch of white dudes. Like all they did was drink beers and keggers, and I didn't. And I didn't actually start drinking. Not even start. I got buzzed one night my senior year. I had 7 beers at the soccer house. But, like, I was like, all right, this is fine. But, like, I didn't really start drinking beers until, like, later in my 20s, dude.
Yeah.
Like, later in my 20s.
Yeah,
and even now, I'm like, what it is. But it's just interesting, you know, thinking about, like, how I started falling into the culture because everyone was doing it. Everyone was doing it. It was the peer pressure all day. Let's just get drunk. And then I started enjoying it. I'm not going to lie. I started having fun with it.
Yeah, of course. Like, oh, wait. So it's not just the guys, the girls drink too?
Oh. And then we have more fun.
Dude, that reminds me of another thing that I was meant to say. Like, I was one of the dudes, I remember growing up and being like, nah, I don't mess with girls that drink.
Yeah.
I don't mess with girls that drink. And through high school, you can get by with that.
Yeah.
And then I got to college, and I was like, nah, I don't want no girl that's been drinking because I want her to be, like, in my mind, like, I don't need to have no girl that drinks to make a decision, want to sleep with me, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, like, bro, every girl's drinking. Like, I would never have a girl if I was nobody. I had to bend the rules around her. But it was just so funny just to see the difference between high school to college. Even not just like I say the culture, but just even within myself. But yeah, it was just crazy to see go from drinking to
Here's what I will say.
not drinking to drinking.
For as much as like I drank in college, I was still a Division I athlete.
Yes.
You were still a Division I athlete.
Yes.
So I still drank a lot less than most
absolutely,
college students.
Dude. Absolutely.
And I think what also helped was that I was broke. Even though I had a job, but I was broke. Right? Like my money wasn't really going to buying alcohol and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so I will say when my drinking, like when I think I really started abusing alcoholism, once I graduated, because now I got money. Now I'm working, and now I have autonomy. If I don't have to wake up for practice, I don't have to worry about this game. Because we had 72-hour rule regular season. You couldn't have alcohol 72 hours for the game, and I took that shit religiously.
Yeah.
And then we had a 48-hour rule in spring season because it wasn't a real season in spring season. I broke that once or twice. But like I took the other shits very seriously, and so I really could only drink on Saturday nights. That was really it in college. Because during the season, we would always play on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So after Wednesday, the game, it's already 72 hours for the next game. I couldn't drink. So I would only drink Saturdays. And Sundays was our only day off, really. So I ended up working out that way. So my shit was... Yes, I drank and I partied, but it was a lot less tempered than once I graduated.
I mean, it's the same. Like, we only played once a week, but I would never drink, I felt like...
During the season?
During the season. I mean, I would never drink during the week and then have to, like, get up and go and do stuff. Like, I just couldn't even comprehend that. So I would only drink like Saturday nights, like after a game, Saturday nights. That'd be the only day of the week I would drink.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will say this, like being at a football type school, like I didn't have to pay for the drink. So I didn't even have to worry about, like, I would go out and not have to spend $1 on drinks. And it was all free, but still not be, I still wouldn't abuse it. Like now if I had, like, once Derek came into my life. Once you got into my life after my early 20s, once I got into my late 20s, and once we met, then it was like, that is when my drinking picked up. Like even before then, I wasn't even a heavy drinker.
No, you weren't. You told me that. You weren't.
And then once that started, I don't know, man.
It was, and I think we all had our own style. I would say I graduated, I went to DC, and then in DC, like my drinking got like I was drinking, 3-4 times a week, but like my body could bounce back, so I could show up to drunk next day hungover, and it didn't feel that bad. Yeah. Right. So I was able to do it. It was very functioning, and I wasn't like drinking by myself. Like we were going out, me and the boys. We was going out in DC, and it went out like that. And I came back, and then, honestly, I started getting closer to some of my older cousins. Fuck you, Eddie and Jason. And then we just had this crew where motherfuckers just drank, and we just drank, and we just drank, and we would drink 3 times a week.
Where were y'all drinking?
Back in Rhode Island, we was taking shots. We was taking shots. We was taking shots. We were drinking mixed drink. We was going out all the time. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, nothing bad ever really happened. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really have bad memories, really, of like, oh, this shit crazy, this shit, like, this was crazy. Like, we always had fun.
And like, y'all were driving back then, almost.
And we was driving, bro. Yeah. And we was driving out. That, I obviously don't recommend it. Like, come on. At the end of the day, drinking and driving, just young and stupid. With that said, and this isn't an excuse, our tolerance levels were super high. Yeah. Like, crazy high. Like, what I did then, trying to do that now, absolutely not. No. Absolutely not even close. Not even close. No way. But, like, it then became just a habit. It then became a part of normal life. Like, every weekend we're drinking. Yeah. Every weekend we're drinking. There's no off times. There's none of that. We're drinking every weekend. Yeah. And I might go out and drink on a Wednesday or a Thursday. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. But it was every weekend in my 20s we were drinking. I don't remember taking a weekend off. Yeah. I don't remember taking a weekend off.
Yeah, if we're doing something, we're drinking.
We're doing something, we're drinking. It was such a sort of thing. Again, this isn't me drinking by myself, but like when it was more of being surrounded with people, that social aspect that everyone was drinking. It was like, well, I got to drink. Everyone's drinking, and then it turned into, oh, you being a bitch, take a shot. You being a bitch. Like,
absolutely. I mean, this is where this developed from. This is where you got that from.
Yeah.
Okay. Man. It's starting to make sense now. Starting to make sense now. Okay. Wait,
so now let me hear your story about how I traumatized you, dog. What are we talking about here?
As you were mentioning, once we met, we was working at a tech company, and this was the first time where I felt like it was almost incentivized to go out and drink. Yeah, for work, because 100%. They were doing like happy hours after work during the middle of the week, and you would just go out on a Tuesday, Wednesday, third, like it didn't matter any night of the week. It was you could go out and stay out all night long and be totally trashed. Yep. and then go to work the next day and not be the only person.
No, not be the only person.
Yeah,
and it'd be fine.
Everybody, like from the manager to the
director
to everybody was showing up and just had to just get through it.
It was almost like an initiation.
Yes.
It was almost like this is what you needed to do to function, and particularly in tech sales. Like, and I'm not trying to make excuses for any, like, but like that was really what it was. That was the culture. And then the reality is that Austin, at least at the time, was a huge party town.
Yes.
Huge drinking town.
Yes.
And the norm was you go to 6, you go to this. Like that's, I don't know how to explain it, but it exponentially added to the like, this is what I need to do, to your point.
Yes. I mean, you get off work at 5:30, and you're having a happy hour from 6 to 9.
Yep.
And it's an open tab.
Yep.
So now you're gonna just drink from 6 to 9. Well, once the tab
you're
closes,
sauced.
and now it's 9 o'clock, it's like we're out here now.
Yeah,
so
we're out here.
where we going?
Where we going, though? Dirty all the time, man. I remember
Wednesday. Let's go out.
Yeah, there used to be a Blues on the Green out here in Zilker. Blues on the Green is they used to do blues and jazz on the green every Wednesday in the summertime at Zilker. Free, complete free, and BYOB. Mm-hmm. Bring your own bottle, and we used to go. And I remember one time we went. It was like in 15. And I remember I grabbed her and I was like, yo, let's just go to Blues and Green, but we're not going to go after. We're just going to chill. We're not going to go out after. We're just going to freaking chill. Let's go check it out. All right, cool. We were going. Shit ended. Hey, we going to Dirty or what?
Dirty?
That night.
Dirty?
That night.
Man, next thing you know, it was a crazy.
It was a crazy. Oh,
2 a.m.
Oh, my God. And it was like, and look, we say this like, again, my situation is with alcohol. Here's my
how did it evolve from
my
that
biggest
time?
problem. Yeah, here's my biggest problem right now is that for the most part, some of my fondest memories, some of my biggest bonding moments with friends, some of my craziest and most fun vacations, travel stories, all revolves around alcohol. And so for me, in my mind, it's hard to get over that because now, fast forward to now, I'm 40 years old. I'm very sober curious, like very sober curious. For those that don't know, sober curious is somebody that's curious about being sober. You know how they say bi-curious or whatever, all that. Like it's like this new term.
You're not helping us out here. Liberals. We are not helping the liberals out here. But keep going.
Very sober curious, and like I don't drink frequently anymore. And and this really started maybe like a year and a half ago, which I know sounds alarming, but even before that, I wasn't drinking. I wasn't going out and getting trashed frequently, but what I was doing was that I was drinking every weekend at home on my couch, wine, just red wine.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have, a couple glasses. It would chill, it was relaxing, and then it would turn into like a bottle. And I was drinking like a bottle on a Friday night and shit like that. But I wasn't going out and getting trashed. I was doing that. I'd go to bed, blah, blah. I'd wake up, be like, this kind of sucked, blah, blah. But I did stop that. But again, it's also like sometimes where it's like, oh, we're gonna go out, and I'm like, but do I want to go out and not drink? Because it's like all my best memories of going out has been with drinking. And so it's just been hard. It's something that I have to unlearn because even socially, even with some of our friends still here now today, particularly with some of my peoples back home, I love y'all, but like we all bonded over drinking. And so we get together, we go back to old ways.
Absolutely.
And we go, oh, we're going to drink. Oh, we're going to take shots. And oh, we're going to do that. And it's like, I don't really know if I want to do that, but like it's hard to not fall back into your old habits. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, because I think that even like hanging out together, like you're one of our few friends that may go out and not have a drink. And I think, it is something for people, I think, to get accustomed to, just because you're just so accustomed to everybody's out drinking. So if somebody's like, oh, I'm not going to drink, you're like, oh, what's the problem?
You think something's wrong.
You think something's wrong. And then you start to go back to these, I feel like how we mentioned in high school, like, oh, you think you're too good to drink, or you think you're like, and it's kind of like we take this, we take that as some type of dig on ourselves when somebody out and then I can imagine for yourself as being like, dang, everybody's pressuring me, peer pressure. Where on the other side we're like thinking, oh, he thinks he's doing better than us because he's not drinking. I think it's just so funny to see that dichotomy. You just have to get accustomed to being okay with, like, you know what? Not everybody has to drink. And I think that's something that I try to get better as being like, oh, cool. I'm not going to peer pressure do stuff.
Here's the reality of it. If you don't want to drink, anyone, I don't mean you as in her, but like me or anyone, you have to be okay with how other people may perceive you, because you just can't control anybody, what they think. And if they think that that you think you're better than them, that's sorry, but that's on you. That's on them.
And that's
you can't control that.
Absolutely.
But you bring up a valid point, because that is how I feel a lot of the times. I think I didn't drink January and into thing, and I remember a couple of our friends being like, "Oh, are you doing sober January?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm running the half marathon. I don't want to drink." Like, and even if I was like, who cares? And there's just like judgment of like, oh, blah blah. There is a judgment, and I think the biggest problem is because particularly with me, a lot of our friendships again revolved around drinking. When it started, we were out socially drinking, and so to see Derek not drinking anymore, it's like weird. You're like, what was going on? And again, there's this like stigma of like, oh, there's something wrong with him, and I hate that. That's the one thing that I hate. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with me, guys. Yeah, it's just like I don't want to be doing that shit anymore.
Yep.
And if y'all want to drink, go drink. That's fine. But like, don't make me feel like there's something wrong with me. Just let it be. Yep. And you don't got to ask, oh, are you drinking or blah, blah. Y'all can still invite me out, and don't worry about if I'm drinking or not. If I drink, I drink. If I don't, I don't.
Self-pity, like, it's like that.
Yeah.
On themselves, like they feel like this reflection on themselves, like, oh,
that's what it is.
I think I'm drinking too much. Like, hey, maybe I should not drink.
I think that's what it is. I should
look at my own drinking, or I know I abuse alcohol when I go out, and now Derek's going to be sober. Maybe he's going to be judging me.
Yeah.
And to be the drunk person around a sober person, nobody wants to be that. And nobody even wants to be the sober person or a drunk person. Yeah. But anyway, sober people and drunk people just don't mix well.
No,
but I say that as long as everybody's respectful and just being like, no, it's all right. Like, he ain't drinking. Like, just let it be.
Yeah, let it be. And like, to be honest with you, nobody owes anybody an explanation.
Again, back to if you've been with us, you'll start to hear some common things here. And then I think that is one of the better ones, is that like, you don't have to have no grandiose explanation of why you're not drinking, other than I don't feel like drinking today, and everybody should be like, cool.
We
keep moving on and keep moving.
No is a full sentence, man. No is a full sentence.
There we go.
No, you want to drink? Nope. Cool. That's it. But it's a mind fuck. It is a mind fuck. It really is a mind fuck. Like I said, especially when that's all you've known a person for. That's the good times that you've had. It's difficult. Admittedly, it's super difficult. Like, we went out last Sunday for a half marathon, and I got drunk.
Yeah,
I hadn't drank in a while, and I got drunk. And then this leads back to like, why have I stopped drinking? Well, I've stopped drinking because I also realize that it's not healthy, and I also realize that like, I have a very 0 to 100 personality. If y'all don't know, like, I'm either all the way or I'm completely out.
I'm with you on this.
That's me to the fullest.
I'm with the dream.
And I know that about myself.
Yes.
It's very hard for me to go 50-50.
Yes.
Very hard for me to go 50-50 and pace myself. Like, I can have 1 or 2 drinks. Like, 1 or 2 drinks, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, but if I'm out.
But if I'm out, and now it's like, now we having 5 or 6 for me to stop.
Once
it's
we
like
hit that first shot, it's like, oh, we're here now.
Yeah, and I'm like, and so like, I know that about myself, and when I get into that mentality, my mind goes back to, oh, I'm still 28, I'm still 29, and so I keep drinking like I can handle that, and I can't. I cannot, because I don't drink that much anymore.
Yeah,
and so then I end up blacking out. I end up browning out. I end up super fucking hungover the next day, and I'm like, and I end up with the biggest regret. And I'm like, I don't want to have that at 40 years old anymore. Like, to me, that's embarrassing to me, and I don't want to do that anymore. So that's a lot of the reason why I'm like, I mean, eventually, and here's the reality of it. Like, when I go like a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months on drink, it's not hard.
Yeah, I
feel great. I don't miss it. I'm not like, oh, I wish I'm good. And so I would like to collect more of these longer time frames, eventually go 4, 5, 6 months. Eventually I'm at like one day where I haven't drank in 8 months, and I'm like, oh, why do I even need to drink anymore? There's no point. I've done 8 months. Shit.
I've been 8 months without drinking.
Yeah,
I'm not to make fun of not to.
But it's a tough discussion, because I do have a little bit of shame in my older years around my drinking.
I guess, but why though? I feel like I don't ever remember a time where like, oh man, Derek got way too drunk. Like, I don't ever remember that. And I've been a person. I'm a lightweight, by the way.
He's very lightweight.
I'm a lightweight. Yeah. I know I'm a lightweight, but so I remember throwing up. Like, I'm quick to throw up, and then I feel like as I've gotten 40, I'm like, bro, like, we ain't doing that no more. We done with that. We ain't gonna be doing this whole throwing up no more. Like, man, being an adult, you know yourself. You want to drink, fine, but like, we ain't gonna be doing the throwing up things anymore. And the last time I had this happen was with you taking full shots, because as I've gotten older, I realized I don't need a full shot. I need a little bit of a shot.
Little baby shots.
But Derek, when he do the shots, this was months ago. Why did we go? I don't remember why we went out, but it was you, Christy, my girlfriend. It's just us four. And we ended up going to West and then to 6th Street.
Oh, this is December, Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is it now?
It's February.
Okay, yes.
That's so funny because I didn't even get that drunk that night.
I was, the boy was hurting.
Oh,
hurting for 2 days. Hurting.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do full shots anymore. But I was saying, like, I was just always like, I know when I go out, I'm gonna drink, but now I've gotten more cognizant of like how many drinks.
Yeah.
I'll turn a drink down. Like, I don't need another one. I can quit here. I'm done with this. And again, like
what's your drinking habits looking like nowadays? Now, we're kind of talking about me. What's it look like now?
It's funny because me and you was having a conversation where like we was talking about alcoholics and alcoholism and alcohol abuse, and I feel like I would never say I feel like I'm an alcoholic, or I would never feel like even suffering from alcoholism. But I do feel like there is a level of alcohol abuse. Obviously, if you're drinking and you're getting thrown up, and you're throwing up,
or blacking out,
like if you're drunk, that's alcohol abuse. But also, I will drink like on a very frequent basis, like almost on a daily basis, like just a glass of champagne. No, it sounds crazy. Yeah, I'm drinking the bubbles over here. Champagne poppy. But no, but every single night. But I don't even think about it in the sense of like over drinking. But then I also think about it in the sense of like, if I would have seen my parents do this, or if somebody was telling me this person drinks every single night, I would feel like, oh, that is a lot to drink every single night. But I don't feel that way.
Right.
And it's so weird. Like it's
interesting. I mean, I don't think it's an issue if you're but like I could definitely see how somebody else could see that that's an issue. And technically, according to the definition,
my mom thinks it's an issue. Like if I go home, I feel like I'm on vacation, so I'm like, I'm at home and I'll start drinking. And you know what? It's so funny. I feel like my family probably thinks I drink a lot compared to them. I guess I may do, but when I'm at home, like when y'all see me, I'm on vacation. So like it ain't every day is a vacation day.
Every day, so I'm having a little sip.
I'm sipping. So anytime I go home, they'll see me. I'll have like I'm an Andre drinker. That's so crazy. But anyway, I have like a bottle of champagne all the time and like in a cup or something, and they would be like, "Dang, you got to drink." Like, yeah, bro, it's
vacation.
It's vacation.
I'm not home. My God.
But I don't feel that way. But I guess it depends on the audience, the perspective.
It does depend on the audience. And again, this goes back to like all this alcohol culture. But I also think that millennials, Gen Xers, and boomers is a completely different thing, because nowadays the new generation, Gen Zs, they don't be drinking as much. Drink,
but they got the other stuff.
They do all this stuff. So for example, according to an August 2025 Gallup news article, in the United States, approximately 50 to 59% of young adults 18 to 34 report drinking alcohol today. That's a big decline from 72% recorded in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So like drinking is significant. They're saying that some of the factors for this, some of the reasons, is health perception. Just a growing majority of young adults, they view even moderate drinking as harmful. And approximately 66% of those aged 18 to 34 believe moderate consumption is bad for health, compared to only 50% of those who are over 35. So the older you are, you're like, oh, if you drink moderately, it's not that bad for you. Like the mentality is all changed.
I don't think it's old. I think it's just the culture we grew up in, where we came through the Ciroc era. Like, we saw it like heavily. I feel like it was heavily advertised to us, like the Hypnotics, the
Alizé, the Hennessy,
and maybe that's because we were young, and that's what you cater to young people. But like, people weren't like smoking cannabis wasn't openly tolerated. And cigarettes were on the out. People didn't really smoke cigarettes, like not in my crew. So it was just drinking. Like it literally was just alcohol.
You're right. And that's one of the reasons they have here too, substance substitution. Some data suggests that young adults may be substituting alcohol with marijuana and recreational legalization as it all expands. It's all about the legalization aspect of it too. So no, I think you're very spot on with the culture. But even look at here in Austin, like I said, when I moved to Austin, every weekend, shit was popping. Every bar was packed. Everybody was drinking. Now you go out, even on a weekend, there's pockets.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to one of the bartenders down on Rainey Street. This was like a year and a half ago. And Rainey Street's dead. Rainey Street used to be popping. Now, granted, there's less bars. But it used to be, what was it? Sunday Fun Day, bro.
Sunday Fun Day. That's where you went. Like,
popping. Man. I was there on a Sunday. And it was dead. And I'm like talking to the bartender, and I'm like, what's going on? She was like, yo, the reality is a lot of these Gen Zers, they don't drink like that anymore. And they're super socially awkward. They don't like to be. They like to be in front of their computers, their laptops. They like to be at home, and that's just kind of the reality of it. So like you see it downtown, like it's dead. Like I always thought that alcohol, like bars and liquor stores, would never go out of business because it doesn't matter how bad the economy's doing. Before, people would drink when they were happy. People would drink when they were rich. People would drink when they were poor, when they were sad. People drink with everything.
If you look at 100 years ago, it was in the middle of the Prohibition, and that's where I guess we're going towards the end of the Prohibition, but still, we were in Prohibition just 100 years ago, and people were drinking more than ever during that time. And alcohol was legal, and look what it kind of led to some
people. Like I always thought that, and not that people ever completely all stopped drinking alcohol, but it's significantly declined. And like I said, you can see it downtown. It's crazy. Yeah. And all these alternatives are coming out. These THC drinks, non-alcoholic beverages are killing it. Like I love Atlantic non-alcoholic a beer. I actually do like it.
I'm on the mindset of like, if I'm gonna drink the beer, I better get the
No, I hear you because it's just as expensive too. It's kind of wild on that shit. And these mocktails, bro, mocktails, like for that same cocktail, $14 for the mocktails, $13, and I'm like, yo, you're charging me $1 less, and that shit has alcohol, and this is just a bunch of cranberry juice.
Like at the I might well get the
what the fuck are we talking about?
Hey, I'm gonna give me the shot now.
It's crazy. But like, yeah, it's incredible how the culture has changed. It's incredible how my mind has changed. The reality is, for me, is that alcohol. The hangover gives me so much anxiety, and I already suffer from really bad anxiety as it is. And so by adding to it alcohol, to me, it's just like, what's the point? Like, what's the point?
Now, would you like, does it matter what the alcohol, like, or do you always, after you drink alcohol, feel this way? Or is it if you
It's just if I overindulge.
Okay.
For example, I made a New Year's resolution this year. I'm like, I'm not going to take shots because shots are the things that usually get me really drunk. I didn't take shots on Sunday. Yeah. I drank a bunch of bubbly and White Claws, and I was fucking shit-faced.
White girl wasted over here?
Oh, bro, I was fucking shit-faced. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I didn't even take shots. And so it's just about overindulging at that point. Yeah. And so it's just my body can't handle it. I can't handle it like that anymore. I'm okay with pumping the brakes, and I am pumping the brakes. I also need to be, we all do. If you're on this journey, just be gentle with yourself, because it's not, if you've been conditioned, if you've lived a certain way for a long time, like, it's hard to like peel back from it. I know I'm making it sound like an addiction, but it was customary. It was just very customary part of my life. It was a very normal part of all of our lives. Socially, we all drank, we all did this. And so I've been having to unlearn how to go out into the world and socialize and be out there and not have to drink alcohol. Like, and it's doable.
I mean, that's courageous right there.
It's courage, right? Yeah, calling me courageous.
Go out here sober and deal with people
that's
sober.
So sad. That's so sad.
No way, no how.
But look, I welcome it. And it's just, I've really thought heavily about this for the past couple of years. And it's just been interesting. This is why I wanted to have this discussion around it, because I'm like, man, like, alcohol has been such a centerpiece of my life.
Why do you say centerpiece? I mean, I know alcohol was like, for all these memories that you may have. Why do you think alcohol, or why do you consider alcohol to be the centerpiece? I know it's like hey, we're gonna meet up and go drink, but it's almost like drinking just gives us the excuse for the socializing aspect. And I can see how you can look back and say that alcohol is the reason, but I feel like maybe it wasn't the actual reason. With it was just it was the excuse for us to meet out.
So you think people needed an excuse to drink alcohol,
or just even be like, oh, we're going out to drink, and it's like, it ain't even about the drinking. It's just, I need to get out and be socialized. Like, it was such a heavy emphasis, I would say, on being out and being social. And like, I guess we came through the last part of networking, like person to person networking, where it gave a reason to be out. It made sense to be out almost.
Yeah.
To where now it's
alcohol. Like, Nah, I do think that it's also, there was, I'm trying to think, right? Because, for example, now what do I do to get out and be social? I joined a run club and I go run. I used to do sports. There's like so many things you can do. But I'm like rediscovering that. Nowadays, I feel like technology just takes over so much. And so with younger people being behind screens, being behind their phones, and being able to connect virtually, there is no reason to be like, hey, let's go meet up somewhere and drink.
Like go to the bar and meet girls.
Yeah, let's go to the bar. Like, that's not the thing anymore. You just jump on your app and you think. So like, a plus for not having to drink alcohol, but also a major negative.
Yeah.
At the very least, yeah. Before it was like alcohol could be a reason to get people together.
Yeah.
You're right, because we were always together.
Yes.
Like I lived with roommates. We lived with roommates, and I loved it. I hated being by myself.
Yeah. Yes.
Hated it.
It was crazy.
It was nuts.
And
I didn't like it.
But I also can remember like the Sundays of just waking up and ripping shots too.
That's it. Whose fault was that?
What a time to be alive.
That was very.
What a
I was
time
the
to be
guy that
alive.
would wake everyone up on Sunday morning and be like, "Shots!"
Yeah.
This guy sleeping on the couch in the frat house, and he'd be like,
oh my
"Oh
gosh,
man!"
yo.
And we'd have work the next day. And it was like, "No, we having a Sunday
We just
fun
getting
day."
started.
Yeah.
Let's go. And we
The
about to
weekend's
get
not
out.
over yet.
Yo, we got one last day to get it all in before 8:30 tomorrow.
Oh man,
That was it.
again, like great times, but like it's just so interesting how that was such a cultural piece and such a centerpiece to it all. So look, I think in conclusion, if you want to move away from alcohol, if you're feeling like it's hard to say no with friends and all that, like don't even worry about it so much. Just recognize that you can say no, and hopefully your friends can be respectful of it. You know,
What was the word you used again? Alcohol. What did you say? Curious.
I'm sober curious.
Sober curious.
Sober
Take that
curious.
away right there. Sober, my man.
Sober curious.
over here.
Sober curious. Yeah. Hey, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think alcohol is worse than weed. I know it is. I think it's worse than marijuana.
I
I fully support all my friends who smoke weed.
I don't want to say.
Not pointing
I
fingers,
don't want to do. I don't want to do a worse than or better than. I would
Fair
just
enough.
say the overindulging in one can cause immediate, acute danger, not only to yourself but also to others.
So maybe we do an episode on weed.
I mean, I would say you need to have a developed mind. But pick it up later in life. Pick it up later.
Fair enough. That's respect, because I don't know much about weed. So
I might know a thing.
it is what it is, man.
I may have heard something.
I might have heard a thing or two. Anyways, I thought that was an interesting discussion. We wanted to talk about that.
Absolutely.
But damn, we're already at 51 minutes.
Man, we getting
crazy.
We spot on here. We know we
Hey.
getting back in the roll of things. Getting
a little better. Getting a little better, man.
My voice might be, get my voice right now. Maybe I have to work the pipes a little bit. You're gonna get something.
Hey,
yeah, we evolve.
Hey, let us know in the comment section. Like,
Yes.
what's your memories of
Relationship.
alcohol? What's your relationship with alcohol? What was it back then? Is it different now?
Tell us about some of those fun alcohol. Those days and maybe some of those, I don't want to say regrets,
Fun drunk
but some of those,
stories?
there we go.
Fun
Drop
drunk
your
stories.
stories in the comments.
Yeah, drop us. Just not about me, please.
If you got them, drop them.
All right, let's jump into a little bit of something we want to teach someone. I'll go first this time. I think you
Okay.
went first last time. So, I was going to do my typical, I'm going to jump into some spaceship. But you know what else? I'm going to keep it on topic today. So I actually got like a fun fact, an interesting fact. And I went into this hole about like what's the most expensive alcohol in the world.
Ooh, huh?
Really, really interesting. So I've got a couple.
Do I get a guess?
Of course you get a guess. You're never gonna guess it.
One of them is the King Louis got one? The King Louis the 13th.
King Louis not on here.
Okay,
King Louis not here.
Yes, I don't even know.
So
I ain't
I've
seen what's
got
expensive
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on here right now, and I'm gonna go from
least expensive.
least expensive. So the most expensive is the Emerald Isle Collection. It's a 30-year-old Irish whiskey, including a Fabergé egg, and it costs $2 million. $2 million.
Are we ripping shots or are we getting a whole? But like, how much did we
It's
get?
a bottle. It's a bottle. It's a
$7.50.
bottle. Yeah, it's a bottle.
Okay.
Yeah. The next most expensive alcohol is the Macallan.
Oh, okay.
1926, fine and rare. It's the
1926.
most expensive whiskey sold at an auction. $2.7 million.
Is Macallan's is Irish?
Yeah,
Or-
it's Irish whiskey.
Okay.
Yep, it's
okay.
Irish
So
whiskey.
it wasn't prohibition. I mean, it's prohibition here, but not there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one is the Pasión Azteca Platinum Liquor Bottle by Tequila Ley. Crafted from platinum in white gold. The bottle is, of course. And I think,
Okay.
and here's the reality. A lot of the reasons why the lot of the factors for the high cost is there's a lot of diamond and gemstone decanters.
Yes.
There's
It ain't
a
the-
lot
it
of
ain't the
these
actual
is
liquor
that,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And often crusted with jewelry, making them liquid art rather than just beverages. The rarity and aging of it as well is very important. The antique pre-prohibition and exceptionally aged spirits, 60-year-old Macallan, are highly sought after by collectors. And the unique artistry, the hand-painted bottles or bespoke creations, those are some of the reasons. So the next most expensive is called Isabella's Islay Whiskey. Features 8,500 diamonds and 300 rubies on it. worth $6.2 million. However, none of that compares to the number one most expensive bottle in the world, which again really comes down to how the bottle is decorated. But it's D'Amalfi Limoncillo Supreme, which was recently purchased for, you want to take a guess? So the last bottle, the Isabella is away with $6.2 million. The D'Amalfi Limoncillo is way more than that.
He said way more.
Way
I was
more.
about to go with 10, so he said way more. No way. I mean, at this point, you're talking about. So wait, what is it made with again?
It's adorned with rare diamonds.
Rare diamonds? Okay. 28 million. No way. No, so what I mean, but it's just a bottle. Is the liquor even in there still?
Right.
Do they sell more than one?
And it's Limoncillo too.
Like, can you get one? I get one, or is this an auction only?
I don't know. It's a great question. I have to look it up, but it's $44 million.
44 million? Like, come on, stop.
Well, why even buy that though? At that point, like, what's the point? Like, you just have fuck you money, right? You're Elon Musk.
No, it has to be like an investment, or it's a right. Like it got like anybody that buys it, it's some type of scam. Like I feel like it's a scam. It's a write off. It's a scam. You're loopholing.
No.
Because what else would you going to be doing with it?
I think certain people, very few people have FU money. It's the same thing as yachts.
Yeah.
Because yachts depreciate right away. So it's like, why are you buying $1 billion? Why? It's a dick measuring contest at that point. It's just to say that I got it. And so,
yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. That is true.
You know,
that is true.
That's really what it is. So, anyways, I felt like that was interesting and also absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, just to give you one last thing to give you more, I actually do have the reason here. So the Amalfi Limoncillo Supreme, valued at approximately $44 million. The extreme price is driven by the bottle's design, which features 3 diamonds and a 13-karat rare diamond, rather than the liquid itself. Only 2 bottles were ever produced.
Okay. All right, so I got 1 or 2.
I got the other one.
I got the other one. There. Kids done broke into got a high school party. Got the kids. They drinking out my damn $44 million. Kill one of y'all kids out here. Y'all crazy. Well, mine is not that interesting. I would say, but are you familiar with the Ides of March?
Why does that sound familiar?
It is the day, March 15th. It is the day that Julius Caesar was assassinated, and that's what's called the
Ides of March.
Ides, IDES. Of March.
Ides of March.
And it's March 15th.
Okay.
Typically what we say March 15th, but it was a March 15th, 44 BCE, you know, close to when Derek was born.
Yeah, right around that time.
Around time. But this is when Julius Caesar was assassinated by the Roman senators who felt he was becoming too powerful, and this later event was dramatized by the William Shakespeare play where Julius Caesar. But that's why March 15th, which is coming upon us here, it's called the Ides of March, because it's the day of Julius Caesar being assassinated. But now it's become not. But people also refer to the Ides of March now as a form of, or shorthand for like betrayal or political conspiracy or a dramatic downfall. So you may hear someone say like the Ides of March in reference to that. As
okay,
well.
I never knew that.
There you go.
I've never thought about it, but I've never knew that. I've heard of the Ides of March. I guess I never bothered questioning what it was about.
I was doing something, and I don't know why. It's always fascinating. I'm not even really fascinated with Julius Caesar like that, but like, I don't know, the Ides of March.
That shit reminds me of, like, remember that trend that was happening like 2 years ago where women were asking their boyfriends, how often do you think of the Romans? And then the guys were like, I think about them every day. And it's like, you don't remember that trend?
No.
Oh my God. It pissed me off. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I've never thought of the Romans. Yeah. And it was granted, it was a lot of white boys. I'm not going to lie. But it was these videos of them. They were like, yeah, what do you mean? I think about the Romans all the time.
No, don't think about slaves all the time.
What?
That's not on my mind.
What the fuck are you talking about? And it was like this trend of like, and it was so annoying because, of course, all these streaming apps took advantage of it. So everything that kept popping up on my Netflix, everything was like 300. Yeah. It was like Gladiator. It was all these like Roman movies and shit like that.
I like the movies.
I do like the movies. I did like 300 and all that, but like I don't sit here and think about that. So that's what reminds me of the Ides of March. Like, nah, don't put that trend out there anymore, bro.
You see things that tick Derek off over here.
What? You know what does tick me off is that like there's all these certain fucking sect of men that give other men just bad names in general. Like they just give us bad names.
I think that's just part of being a man. Like Part of being a man is you're gonna give another man bad name.
Oh, just all time. It's true.
Whatever it is that you like, you're giving another man bad.
It's crazy.
Bad name.
You be hearing stories. You're like, wait, he did what? I'm like, I swear we're not all like that. Okay, fair enough. A lot of us are, but damn, dog. Why you gotta make us look so bad, man?
It's so funny you said that because I mean, before we jump off here, like we have our topic today was alcohol. When all of season 1 we teased that we're gonna do an episode drunk.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that. We're gonna do a drunk episode. Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's just so funny. Again, we always gonna give each other bad names instead of we doing. It's part of being a man.
Oh, the irony. Good talk, man. Hey, man, I appreciate it. We did it again. Episode 3, season 2. Peace.